The Cleveland Cavaliers have had an extremely weird season. Again, I think it was a month or two ago, I actually made a video talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers and their injury issues and kind of everything that's gone on. Again, the Cavs are one of the weirdest teams in the NBA right now because they not only have a lot of star power, but they have a relatively nice squad. The issue is they always have a ton of injuries, and when they have a fully healthy team, it can actually be argued that the Cavaliers play better when one of Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell does not play. The Cavs have this massive issue right now where when Darius Garland plays and Donovan Mitchell does not, Garland is playing like not only an all-star, but a potential all-star starter, usually putting up points like 25 points per game and 8 assists per game, looking like an absolute monster. But when he plays with Donovan Mitchell, Garland's points go down to like 18 a game, half the assists, and the Cavaliers don't usually play that well. This is very, again, similar to the opposite side of things. When Garland does not play, Mitchell's averaging like 30 points a game and 5 assists. When Garland does play, Mitchell's scoring is a lot lower, and his assist and I think ball movement is not as great. Now you might be sitting at home thinking, well, yeah, that's what happens when you've got two stars fighting over the ball. That's going to happen, but it doesn't matter unless they're winning, right? Well, the thing is, the Cavaliers are not winning as much when both of those guys are playing together. Not just that, the defense looks absolutely awful, and the ball movement just, oddly enough, is not that good. So that is a huge issue right now for the Cavaliers. The other issue is that after this season, I believe Mitchell will only have 1 year left on his contract, and as we know, as Donovan Mitchell has spoken out previously, he will not re-sign with the Cleveland Cavaliers, it doesn't look like, until his contract ends, where he can apply for a massive super max deal.
I want it to be known that I still have the opportunity to sign an extension next summer. I don't think a lot of people understand that aspect. But right now, for me, my focus is like I just said, we added some new additions. You know, we obviously had a season that you could kind of rate went really well until it went really poorly. So for us, it's, you know, that's where all of our heads are at. That's where my head is at, you know, and I think I'm really excited about what we've got going here.
Again, thing is though, if you do say, let's get Donovan Mitchell on this Supermax deal, and these problems with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland keep going, you still kind of think, well, that means Garland might have to be traded, right? But in realism, what it looks like now is that the Cavaliers are realizing not only are they not going to play together, but considering Mitchell's only got a year left on his deal, and there's still a huge chance this guy could leave in free agency if he wants to go to a team that's a potential better fit for him, they might have to trade him now. And I think a lot of other teams have really seen that the Cavaliers are trending this way. So before I get into the team on who is interested in him, it does beg the question, should the Cleveland Cavaliers potentially look to trade Donovan Mitchell? And that is, in my opinion, possibly. And I would be more leaning towards yes, especially as a massive Cleveland Cavaliers fan myself. I would way rather get a massive haul back for Donovan Mitchell than watch Donovan Mitchell leave in free agency, get nothing back, and watch this Cleveland Cavaliers team still play mediocre basketball when he and Garland are on the court together. That's just the realistic thing. These guys don't play that great together. Again, I think there is times where offensively they're great together, but 90% of the time defensively they're not. And if you're Donovan Mitchell and you're looking for a team to go, I believe he must go to the team where he not only gets to still have somewhat of the ball, but I think he needs to go to a team where he is playing point guard on defense and shooting guard on offense. And what I mean by that is, on the Cavaliers, he has to play shooting guard on both ends, and he's matching up against shooting guards who are like 6'5" on defense, and he just can't do it. Donovan Mitchell is a very small shooting guard at only 6'1". He needs to go to a team where he can guard point guard, but still play his shooting guard role. And what better than the team that is actually interested in him than the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat is a team that was reportedly actually on Donovan Mitchell's wish list before he got traded to the Cavs. Again, before he got traded to the Cavaliers, I think a lot of people forget that it wasn't just actually New York where he wanted to go home. He actually really wanted to go to Miami at one stage. I believe it was Miami, Brooklyn, and New York, and I think Cleveland were an outside chance. And then when he heard that Cleveland were thinking of trading for him, he said, yeah, just send me to Cleveland, because he was friends with Darius Garland, like we know. From what I've heard, I'm pretty sure he's very good mates with Bam Adebayo and very much does like the Miami Heat as a team. If you are the Miami Heat, I don't think there is nearly anyone more perfect in the league that you can possibly trade for than Donovan Mitchell. And the realistic thing is, you're trading with a team in the Cavaliers that I think could use a couple of the players that Miami have to offer. We know Miami do not want to trade for someone, I believe, if they have to give up Caleb Martin. They don't want to give up Caleb Martin. I think they see long-term when he gets off his injury, he'll eventually be starting at power forward again. The realistic thing is, he's a guy who can play 25 minutes off the bench potentially and 30 minutes while starting, who can guard both forwards, he can switch 1 through 4, and he really fits that Miami Heat system. If we look at the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers, there could definitely be a trade worked out here that doesn't revolve in Caleb Martin, that I still think the Miami Heat would very much like, and the Cavaliers would very much like. A trade that I believe they could potentially do is, of course, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and probably about 5 first-round picks to get Donovan Mitchell, 3 or 2 of them being pick swaps. That is very similar to what Cavaliers gave up to get Donovan Mitchell. I think they gave up Larry Markin, who became an All-Star, Colin Sexton, Achai Agbaji, who was pick 30, and 4 first-round picks, and 2 of them were pick swaps. And I think it was actually 5 first-round picks, and 2 or 3 were pick swaps. This is very similar. The Miami Heat give up Tyler Hero, who was expected to be a potential All-Star, just like Markkanen was. They give up Duncan Robinson, who's a nice role player like Colin Sexton, and they give up the first-round picks. If you're the Cavaliers as well, I think this works for them, as Tyler Hero could be a potential All-Star one day, and I also think he would play very nicely with Darius Garland. I actually think that duo would be pretty nice, and I think having a 6'5" shooting guard alongside Garland would probably meet his needs much more than a 6'1" Mitchell on the defensive end. Other thing is, Tyler Hero can be a massive scorer when the Cavaliers need him to, and he can be a catch and shoot guy for the Cavaliers when Darius Garland needs him to. The positive for both teams here is Duncan Robinson's considered one of the worst contracts in the NBA. He gets paid $18 million a year to play about 15 minutes per night off the bench. Thing is though, the Cavaliers, I believe, still need shooting. I still think they need shooting, and they've always got injuries. A guy like Duncan Robinson might actually play above 20 minutes per night with the Cavaliers, and I think he and Max Strus would be a pretty interesting combination at the shooting guard and small forward position at times when they're on the court together. I think that also makes a lot of sense for the Cavaliers to maybe look at, and it's a good idea. Now, should the Cavaliers trade him to Miami is the thing. After everything I've just said then, I still think Miami is a good option for the Cavaliers. But if it was me and I was the Cavaliers GM, I would be looking for a small forward type of all-star to make this deal happen. And what I mean by that is, I still think Max Strus plays his best basketball when he is shooting guard. I think he is too short to play small forward at only 6'5", and he doesn't seem to be able to keep up with them as much. I think if a team comes up to you and says, we'll give you a 6'8", nice defensive small forward who could be a potential all-star one day, you're looking at that. I'm not saying this player in general, Brandon Ingram, but I'm just saying like a player like Brandon Ingram, who's 6'7", 6'8", can be somewhat nice on the defensive end, but still be a scorer who is a near all-star level or is going to be an all-star. The issue is, you just got to remember who's going to trade for Donovan Mitchell are only going to be teams who know he's going to probably re-sign the Supermax. This could be Brooklyn, New York, or Miami, as I've said. or potentially even a team like Orlando. I wouldn't be surprised if they came sniffing, especially if they find out he likes it in Florida. He's mates with Bam, who's only over the road, really. Something like that could really happen, and I think the Cavaliers would definitely like to look at Franz Wagner or someone like that. And hey, the Magic have a lot of room to move there, and they're trying to be one of the best teams in the league. Nets also make a lot of sense. They've got Mikal Bridges, who I think the Cavaliers would very much be looking at. If you're the Cavaliers and you can bring in a Mikal Bridges, another solid player, and a bunch of first-round picks, yeah, I think the Cavaliers would also look at that, and Brooklyn would be happy with that too, because again, he and Simmons could actually work pretty well together, and he could maybe even help Simmons get back to his best. So who knows how they're going to go about this. I'd very much like to hear all of your thoughts and opinions down below. Subscribe to the channel, comment your thoughts and opinions, leave a like. Where do you guys think Donovan Mitchell is potentially getting traded to, or do you think the Cavaliers are going to try and keep him long term? Of course, I'd very much like to know. Don't forget to subscribe to my IRL/vlogging channel and my gaming channels. Links for them will be in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.